Yo, 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 what it do, what it is, y'all? It's your boy Tell May Rock. You're now tuned in to the infamous No Filter Show. And as always, I'm joined by my great co-host.
Yeah, psych. This is hey y'all, it's me, the Blue Phoenix. Today it's the Black Knight. Or maybe the Black Queen, I don't know. Hey y'all.
And as you know, always it's your girl Just Star. What up, down?
Hey, yo, Weez, I like your K Quick impression, Dad, because he always give you the yeah. Like the first is lazy. You feel me? Like you lean into that shit. Pause. What it do, ladies? It's just us two tonight until Quick breezes in here.
Just the two of us, even though it's three. Can't make it if we try.
I'm sitting here like, okay.
Hello.
Hey.
How was y'all week?
Oh, how was your week?
There you go.
What's poppin'?
Nah,
Well,
bro, you ain't do it right.
Oh, excuse me. Let me go out and come back in and do it the correct way. I'll be right back.
Thank you. Sheesh.
Yeah.
How the fuck do I go out?
You know what? I'm gonna put you out.
Yeah. My week was pretty.
well, while we were waiting, I had a very good week. I did more driving. Yay! And I am about to move.
Hey.
Yup, super excited.
We was gonna act like we ain't see you pull up on us at the video shoot.
I know, right? I was whipping.
Yeah.
There we go.
Is that better?
Yeah, now we have a dilemma with the real K Quick. Please stand up.
Well, the one that's talking is the one that's standing.
How do we know you're not AI?
Well, can AI do this? I'm a beacon with enough to get on the distance of a regiment. That's always like niggas with diligence for the purpose of winning. Discover what's in a minute. You wouldn't have better, you were better within my kingdom. Is that better?
Yeah, it's good. What up, bro?
What's happening? What's good, y'all? What's good? Y'all already know the vibes. K Quick in the building. What's goody?
We talking about Star getting some extra driving in this weekend. How she pulled up on us, you know what I'm saying? We ain't saying nothing about the curb she hit, you know what I'm saying?
Did you say anything about did you say anything about the elderly people she ran over?
Oh nah, see that's about to get her charged.
Oh well, yeah, true. Yeah, because as soon as I seen her bend the corner, I jumped on top. I don't know whose car I jumped on top of, but I got off the road.
Whatever. Anyway, I drove all the way past Dumfries today.
Shit.
Yeah, all I know, if I ever tell you I need a ride, you better pick me the fuck up.
I don't know, Quick. I'm scared to come on your side of town after a certain time of night.
Hey, well, see, y'all got me. I'm just saying, y'all, like, bruh, do you know what part of Southeast you used to live in? I used to drive to the belly of the beast to pick this girl up.
Look, I used to work around there. I'd rather take my chances with them than them fellas in white sheets that appear.
Well, for one, you more than likely going to see the folks from Wrong Turn than the ones in the white sheets around my way.
You said what?
Have you seen the movie Wrong Turn?
Nah.
Oh well, yeah. Then you wouldn't know nothing that I'm talking about. It's a horror film. But anyways, long story short, no, the white sheet folk wouldn't dare come around this way.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm in the part of the woods in the part of the country that's heavily there's a lot of melanation over here. And there's a bunch of indigenous folks that live around my neighbors are full-blooded Piscataway. So we band together. Yep.
That's cool.
That's the woods I come from.
Because I grew up with a bunch of niggas.
Well, all right, cool. Anyhow, I digress. But hey, but no. Congratulations. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Because for those of y'all who have not seen Star in person, she is on the taller side, not only when it comes to women, but when it comes to humans. She's just tall for no reason, right? So when she stepped out of that vehicle, it almost seemed like y'all know what it's, you know them clowns when they step out of them little tiny cars at the circus. That's what it kind of seemed like when she stepped out the car.
Excuse me. There will be no star slander on the panel.
No,
Okay?
there is that. I never slandered you, Star. These are just some jokes.
You just said no. Okay.
All right. Just know you're gonna catch another joke later.
Whatever.
Oh shit! Ding, 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 ding. That's the end of round one. Shit.
Yeah. I think I won on the point card.
Shit.
At least I got this round. So yeah, we'll see. Who's counting though?
Mm. What we got going on this week, y'all? Well, actually, you want to know something?
What's up?
I forgot.
What you mean that you forgot?
I definitely forgot.
Wow. I do remember one. I do remember once upon a time you wanted to go to the corner for something.
I don't know. This weather been kind of crazy.
Weather? What's wrong with the weather?
It's a little cold outside. Hold on. I had a surprise guest for the corner. I'm waiting for confirmation.
Okay. So see. How we gonna invite guests on my corner and I'm not informed?
Because that's what a surprise is.
All right.
You know? I was
else gonna shake a leg other than you? Quick.
You say what now?
You mad that somebody else gonna be shaking a leg other than you?
What do you mean shaking a leg? Who shakes legs anymore?
On that corner.
Hey, what you used to do back in your pimping days is your business.
I ain't had to shake a leg back in them days.
Oh yeah, you ran the ones who shook the leg. Exactly.
My hoes were on. My hoes got called upon.
Your hoes got called upon.
Ooh, fancy.
Quest.
And this sounds like some type of Bible in the book of Phoenix. My hoes got called upon. And when they call my name,
oh man,
I put my pimp handeth down. First Smackulations.
12:11.
Right, chapter 12, verse 11.
No. But I had tried. Y'all heard about the what's that? Kombucha drink that everybody. Yeah. Have y'all tried?
Nope. It sounds like I'm not gonna tell you what it sounds like it is because it's gonna sound very fucked up.
Well, I got it. I was nervous, but it's actually really good. We're not gonna advertise too much because we ain't getting no money, but it's really good though.
What is it?
It's a tea, and the kombucha is like the fermented, but it's pomegranate. It's really good.
Okay.
Easy drinking come booty.
See, that's what I thought it was.
Oh, you weren't supposed to tell my business.
You're the one that held it up in the camera.
It sounds like the contents of that bottle contain the mixture of male and female byproduct of sexual relations.
Well, it don't.
And she called it fermented. That made it worse.
Oh God, that joke was marinating.
Oh dang, it's two of me again.
Oh shit! Guess what? So we gonna put both of y'all in the back. Easy solve.
I can officially say Rock came in with the alley-oop and I won round one. Boom.
Are you there quick?
Oh, why is there echo?
It's only on you, buddy.
It's probably because I'm crossing this bridge. Give me a second.
That's what happens when you live in Kombucha, Maryland.
and eat Gaithersburg chicken.
Like shit. Your stomach all fucked up. So hold on. I think I got a video for tonight. In case y'all didn't know, this is the show about nothing. We really don't have shit to talk about. We just want to hit kicking the shit. So if y'all got something y'all want to talk about, drop it in the comments and we can get to it. All right, let me see what we got. Here we go. Give me a second, y'all. Y'all know I'm getting a little older now. It takes a little longer for granddaddy to set these things up on the fly.
I mean, well, you said it, so, you know.
Sure, tab. Okay. All right, let's get to it. Y'all ready?
Uh-huh.
You're
Hey, you want to know how slow I feel right now? So I actually started playing it and forgot to share it like this.
terrible.
Yeah, my bad. It's been a while, y'all. This is the No Filter Show, the show about nothing. Bear with us. We got a little rust. Whatever.
Like they was on their necks. Like Kobe Bryant's dad. Like did you hear what Shaq said about his dad? Shaq was from a military family. His dad was on his neck. Here's my thing. All right. And I think young guys get in your feelings so much, but your dad is here to help you. Your dad is here to help you get through things. And yeah, but I'm not telling you anything that's wrong. So I just don't understand why do young kids get in their feelings when somebody is trying to help them. Like when listen, y'all, when I grew up, and I'm not trying to dog my father and like that because we good now. But when I grew up, I had to show myself everything. I literally learned how to play basketball by literally watching Hardaway and Isaiah Thomas doing the tween cross and watching the old videotapes. I had to just practice those moves by myself. In football, I never had a trainer. I just had to literally go out there and train myself. And I'm trying to give you what I didn't have, but it seems like at times you are resisting what I am telling you. So why is that? Again, why is that?
Let's talk about it.
Are assholes, duh. It's not, it's not like they don't want to hear, but again, we were young too, and we thought we knew everything. We thought our parents didn't know anything. And so it's hurtful to him, one, because when you're not used to he didn't have that. He didn't get to experience that fight with his dad or that, thinking he know better than his dad. So he's coming at it from a place of, I want to give you what I didn't have. And I want to make sure you don't have to go through what I went through, which is amicable. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if his son or his child is like, whatever, dad. But that's just the process of being a teenager. When you turn a certain age, you kind of shut your parents. You love your parents. You hang off there everywhere. When you get a certain age, it's something in your body that says "fuck your parents." It just happens that way, and and you could tell it really hurts him because he thinks that his child doesn't love him, or his child doesn't respect him, or he doesn't appreciate what he's doing. But that's not the case. It's that the child really can't hear him because to him or to the child, dad doesn't know what he's talking about.
Stop.
I don't know. I really I watched it. I paid attention, my full attention, but I don't have an answer for that. I just don't know.
So I feel like this is a layered answer. So the father's role in the house is to be the disciplinary, right? Also is normal for the dad to be the fun one. You know what I'm saying? Those are two hard lines to walk because one, and I'm just speaking, with my son, me and my son, we have fun, we joke around, we enjoy each other. but that line of respect and my expectations is always there, and I'm stern with that. And at times, it can contradict the side of our relationship where we just have fun, because I'm a dad that in my house you can say whatever, you know, as you don't get disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? We have fun. You know what I'm saying? That's just us. You know what I'm saying? But when it's time to be serious, I don't play no games. You know what I'm saying? So that right there blurs the lines and they get confused. Now, another thing is fathers, and then this is just what I learned from you know my experience in parenting. Quick, I'm gonna mute you real quick. And my experience is growing up when you're young and you're at a certain age period, you're gonna naturally rebel, just like Weezy said. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel like your parents don't understand you and X, Y, Z, and blah 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 blah. I know for a fact that my son felt like that, and I noticed that we had a separation because I was the hard ass, you know. But what I was doing, what I learned was I would talk to him after discipline him, and then I'll tell him and just remind him, like, right now, you may not understand why I'm saying this to you, or why I'm acting like this, or why I'm so stern about this lesson. But as you get older, you're going to understand why we had these issues and these conversations, you know. And my son's about to turn 21 now this year in October, and we're having these conversations where we revisited, where we talk that he has a better understanding, you know. And now that he understands why, because he looks at his peers and sees certain things, and he sees things that they do and he don't do it, and he's like, you know, the reason why I'm not there is because you did X, Y, and Z. So it's hard to teach lessons and to be stern when you're the disciplinary, because like we said, we come off as the asshole. But another thing is our approach. You know, like for like prime example, and I know I'm long winded. For me, my dad really wasn't around. You know, and when I got disciplined, I got yelled at and smacked around. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I know. I didn't know how to calmly talk. Ask them what's going on. Ask them why did they do something, and actually want to hear the reason instead of waiting for a reason to go off. You know, I didn't learn that approach until I realized the way my actions toward them was actually affecting them. It was actually forcing them to build up a brick wall where they wouldn't even communicate. Like, we good, but when we have those tough conversations, they clam up. Is because I created an environment where when it gets intense, it gets real. Now, over the years, correcting that, now they understand that, look, I can say whatever, dad is going to listen, he's not going to blow up, and we're going to talk about it. But that's just my viewpoint. I digress.
What my friend is going through right now, and you as a man can possibly give me your point of view on it. So she has kids that's around your son's age. And whenever their dad comes around, you know, he's basically of the thinking and telling her, you let them get away with too much and you don't correct them, and like putting them on punishment and stuff. And her viewpoint is she feels like he still sees them as little kids and not adults because he was not around for their childhood. So how does she deal with that?
Sheesh, that's tough. I mean, the key thing is age. And if he's not active around, like, I'm gonna be honest, I still at times I have to remember that my kids ain't kids, you know? And no matter what happens as parents, we always gonna correct our kids. Like, I don't give a damn how old my kids is. If you wrong, I'm gonna tell you you wrong. I'm going to correct you. That's my fucking job, because parenting doesn't end. But I mean, if for our so to be completely honest, first you got to look at the situation. Does he have a valid point? Should you be saying something? You know, if it ain't that serious, then shut up. But if you really if your friend is really honest with themselves, and if it's something that needs to be corrected, then yeah, she got to get on board, because parenting, regardless if it's in the same house or separate house, it has to be equal across the board. Because I know for a fact that I couldn't go down my father's house. Now I did have a little bit more leniency down there. You feel me? I had a little more freedom, but the standard guidelines was, you know what I'm saying, was there across the board. I knew that I couldn't do certain things at my mother's house, and I damn sure couldn't do it at my father's house. But in certain categories, you know what I'm saying, I was able to do certain things. But it gotta be equal across the board.
Also, if he was not in their life, he's there now, and he can parent them where they are now. You really can't go back to where that correction should have happened, but now that he's here, he can go and talk to them where they are. He can't come at them as little kids, but he can, hey, you're a certain age now, you're grown, and you know you shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. He has to get that relationship with them and correct them now. My dad, my biological father, was in and out. And then my mom married my stepfather when I was 12. And it was still absent. He was there, but he was absent too. But as we became adults, that changed. You know, it seemed like once everybody moved out, the relationship can start building. And he came, even my biological father, he doesn't come at us like we're that little girl or the little boys. He comes at us as adults because he missed that time. So you missed that time. You got to come, hey, listen, I'm going to come at you as a man. As a man, this ain't right. Because if he's not able to come to their mother, if she's not able to receive him, or they can't come together and deal with this together, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to do it. Somebody got to help correct him, or this world going to do it, So that's the only thing I can say. If he can't get through to her, and though they may be in their 20s or 18, 19, 20, he has to step in and be what she couldn't be. Because all her, she raised them, and she probably did the best she could do. And sometimes that's all you can do. But if you're not there and then you come in and you can do better, then do better.
Well, I mean, I don't really know what to say. If you want me to be honest, I think it's more so, what I said. It's not she don't want to co-parent with him, just more so, the things, like for instance, curfews. Like, how do you put a curfew on a 23-year-old, a 24-year-old? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I agree with her.
that's outrageous.
But that's my point. When I, knowing the situation intimately, it just seems more like, what I said previously, just that you missed their childhood. So,
Now, hold on, wait a minute.
That moment. Go ahead.
Now, my folks is country. You feel me? Now, although you don't have a curfew and you're 25 and you living at home, you don't disrespect your parents' house by coming in and out all hours of the night. Like me personally, after I graduated high school, if I knew I wasn't coming home by a certain amount of time, I'm staying out. I text my mother and let her know, because I had respect that I don't want to be walking in and out of the house at 1-2 o'clock in the morning. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't. I was raised that was inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be out, stay out, but don't be in and out of my house all hours of the night.
Quick, what are the rules gonna be for your kids when you start having them?
Well, for one, I'm big. The way I was raised, I'm just big on. I'm just big on respect. You know what I mean? Because I seen a lot of children from people in my age bracket, or maybe a little bit older. I've seen kids who talk and act. I've seen like 5 years, kids as young as 5 years old already cursing, talking, and acting like adults and all that kind of crazy ish. And that is like, to me, that's one of the most ignorant, disrespectful things. Like, because those are taught mannerisms. You know what I mean? Those are taught mannerisms. A kid is supposed to be a kid, act like a kid, have fun, so on and so forth. If I was 5 years old, like, bruh, the first time I let a curse, my first curse word I ever said, well, I forgot how old I was. I may have been 6 or whatnot. I messed around and dropped the F-bomb in front of the family. When I say I got cracked on sight. You know what I'm saying? So so for real, I was just raised by both my parents and grandparents, you know, on respect. As far as like rules, is going that's basically what any rules I have is going to be based around, because the more respect you give, the more respect you get, you know. So that's just the starting point, for real, for real.
So here's my question while we are on the subject, because Weezy said something that I feel like is not addressed enough, or people don't even realize that there may or may not be a difference too. So I want to ask the panel, is there a difference between parenting your children and raising your children?
Yes, there is. I raised you. I did my job. That's what it means to raise your children. When you parent your children, you are present. You are there. You are teaching. You are actually involved. You not do a job. You're there to be their parent. When we look at parenthood or look at our children, one, as our property, or, well, I had you, so I might as well do X, Y, and Z. That causes a rift in between your relationship with your child anyway. But when you are parenting your children, you are there with them, like Rock was saying, you know, the relationship, and he had these conversations with his children. You take your time to help them understand what's going on. You're not just there to make sure that they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or that they get to school, and maybe you take them to some appointments because that's your duty. No, when you're parenting your children, you are there fully, whether you work or not. You're there to make sure, and whether you live in the same house or not, hey, coach, you are there to ensure that these children or this child has everything that they need, mentally, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial, whatever, covered. And it's not because you just gave birth to them. It's because you love them and you want them to be whole in this society. Yeah, we make mistakes as parents. Yes, nobody knows how to be a parent until you're a parent. But that's the difference for me in raising your and parenting your children. You have to
Yeah,
Which one?
parenting. What
No, I was gonna. Well, I'll ask it after you say what you're gonna say.
I was going to say, I agree with Weezy. I think parenting is the act of taking care. Raising is when you really instill. That's when you build them up with the morals, the core values. You know what I'm saying? And you hold them accountable to those standards, so it builds consistency within them. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that's been around and did some quote unquote bad parents, had did bad parenting. You dig what I'm saying? But if you raise your child up right, yeah, you're instilling the values in them.
that goes into the parenting too.
So, which one is more? Which one is more important?
Man, they both they both coexist. You can't do one without the other, technically.
But
Nah,
some people do. Like I
what?
said, what you said, Rob, I'm sorry, Quay. What
Nah,
you
you good.
goes into parenting, because you're going to teach them. You are leading them. You're directing them. You're not just there to make sure they turn 18 and kick them out your house. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So what I mean, well, to me, parenting is get up, go to school, clean that room, wash them dishes. You know what I'm saying? You're enforcing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's the same thing. Raising them is the next level of parenting, if it makes any sense.
Because it seems like Weezy's definition is kind of the reverse of yours. Like your definition of parenting is hers of raising.
It's
It's like
all
y'all saying the same thing. Y'all just flip the definitions.
Uno reverse.
Pretty much.
draw two, Uno out.
But at the end of the day, take care of your children and be there for them. Goddamn it, that's
Well, is there such thing? Because I know, because there's people who can, let's just say let's use Weezy's definition. Let's say there is, because have y'all seen the play Fences?
No.
Or
Yeah.
No.
I've seen.
All
I
right.
didn't say I saw the movie.
All right, well, have you seen it? All right, has anyone else seen the movie?
Mm-mm.
All right,
No.
well, long story short, the main character Troy is basically a very because it's based way back in the day. So the parenting or like the parent figure is very old school, very stern, strict, strong, and all that. Think about your grandparents or your great grandparents or your great grandparents. That kind of upbringing. So the type of relationship he had with his son, it wasn't more so of him. He said himself, he gave him everything he had to. He gave him his life. He feeds him because he owes a responsibility to him. That's his duty. That's his job, to raise him and so on and so forth. He more so didn't really he didn't really play the part of a parent. He did his job and raised him, and did what he was supposed to do because he brought him in the world. Now, that's an example of raising somebody and not necessarily being a good parent. But is there a such thing as being a parent but not being good at raising?
Well, no, I don't think so. Because if you're parent, if you're there, you're basically, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because when you're parenting, you are, again, like Rock said, you are teaching. It's this, you are doing these things. But
Like you could have good moral standards and guidelines, but not enforce them.
There we go.
And honestly, it happens all the time. I think a lot of parents get stressed out and get tired.
yeah, you can. But the thing is, at the end of the day, these are your children, and they have to be here. And like you said, what Denzel said, that puts guilt on the child. He's like, I did what I was supposed to do because I had you. Well, you make it seem like I'm a burden. Because one, and what people say, I didn't ask to be here. None of us did. None of us asked to be here. So it's not right to make your children feel like it's their burden because they were born. If you have this child, it's your responsibility to care and pour into and cultivate, like you do your garden, like you do outside, like they do the flowers. You tend to them, you pour into them, you love them, you teach them, you prune, you show them, you make sure they have sunlight, you make sure they have water. This is what it is to be a parent. You cultivate your children. You do not manipulate them. You do not make them feel guilty, because people don't notice when you speak love and talk to your plants, they grow. When you talk bad to your plants, they die. That's how people are. So we are to cultivate our children. That's what we're supposed to.
Okay, so let me ask y'all a question, because I was about to bring this up, but I just fact checked it and it was a lie. So let's just say allegedly. So allegedly, Anthony Davis ex tries to hit him with a child support because he don't want nothing to do with the baby. So allegedly, they said that he decided to pay all the child support. Excuse me, got the hiccups up front, which totaled up to be like $1.8 million, right? But he wants nothing to do with the baby. Now, remind you, he said he didn't want the baby. He even paid for the abortion, but she blew the money. But that's not true. Now, remember this scenario. So let me ask you this. In a scenario like that, where a man sleeps with a woman, he says he doesn't want the baby. It's her body, her choice. Of course, no other way. She decides to have the baby. He says, hey, I'm just going to pay you the child support up front. I don't want nothing to do with the baby. Who's right and who's wrong?
Well, legally, he's not wrong. Technically, he paid his child support and he paid his obligation. Morally is a different story. You know, legally he did nothing wrong, because if he was ordered to pay child support by the contents of the law, he paid it. You know, but if we're talking about morally, then that's a different discussion there.
So are you brewing over there?
Stop, fell asleep.
No.
Yeah, she bad.
No, I'm not actually. I was sitting here thinking about all the backlash I'm gonna get when I make my statement, but I'm gonna make it anyway.
Let's cook.
Personally, I think that was in the best interest of the child. When a man doesn't want a child and the woman knows this and she chooses to still, give birth to that child.
Oh my God. What are you talking about?
Shut up. In any event. And let's say she doesn't believe in abortion or whatever. What you don't want is for him to treat the child messed up.
True.
Very true.
Yeah,
I was simply saying, so if he wants to pay child support and not be involved, I think that's in the best interest of the child, because like I said, he can end up resenting the child and it's not the child's fault.
Man, you gotta be a fucked up individual to not like something that's you. Like I just don't.
Agree with you.
I don't get it. Like that shit. That's like the one of the wonders of the world that I just can't wrap my mind around, because you know what I'm saying. Once I heard my kid's heartbeat, I fell in love. You get what I'm saying? Let alone when I first held them. So it's like you gotta be a real dirtbag for that shit.
look, women.
Some people.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, some people are selfish enough that they want that personal enjoyment, but they don't want none of the responsibility that can show up with that. And yes, that does make you a dirtbag. Sorry to say it, but it's more common than people think. It's more common that there are babies who, can't speak for themselves that are in the hospital with a broken arm or a broken leg. You feel where I'm coming from? True. So for me, if a man says, okay, well, I'm gonna pay this child support, but I don't want to be involved in at all. Bravo to you, because at least you didn't hurt that baby because you don't like the mother after you done got from on top of her.
So let me ask the panel a question. As an adult, if one of your parents didn't want to have a child but paid child support, and let's say it was the $1 million, it's $5,000 a month in child support. You were well taken care of. You wanted for nothing. Would you be upset with your father?
I would still. I ain't going front. I would still want to know why he didn't want nothing to do with me.
I was just going to say that.
Granted, yes, you took. I mean, granted, I was taken care of and so on and so forth. I mean, the court made you do that, but why? But at the same time, that still doesn't answer the question of why did the person who, one of the people who created me, why was I not wanted by them?
I would want. You're absolutely right. I would want I would want to know the same thing. And maybe because I'm speaking like this, because I know how I was growing up with my father, without my father, and watching her go through what she went through just to make ends meet. I kind of feel like, just from my experience, it wouldn't hurt as bad, because the biggest thing was realizing that my mother was strapped on cash all the time, because she was paying everything by herself and hustling on the side, doing whatever she could to make a little bit of extra money. She worked 2 jobs forever. You get what I'm saying? And that was a struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't fair. So knowing that I wanted to do extracurricular activities as a child and couldn't do it because she couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? We always had food in the house, but my mother come from the country. She throw a meal together. So even when we didn't have food, we had food. You get what I'm saying? So the hardships of life really make me look at my father sometimes and be like, my nigga, you really let me live like that. And that's the part that really pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I had $1.8 million to make life smooth to get me through until I'm older, then yeah, I will be feeling a little bit better. But in the same breath, like you said, I'd be like, bro, why you ain't wanting to do with me? And I think it would be easier to accept him saying whatever he said versus him just saying, I don't want nothing to do with you, and you and your mama gonna struggle.
Okay, let me personalize this. I had my first child at 18. When I was 19, going on 20, I was pregnant again by, my children's father. I didn't know I was pregnant. We were beefing, we broke up. He told me that if I was pregnant, that he wasn't going to raise the baby. He's going to say it wasn't his baby. Basically saying it's not his baby, and he wasn't going to raise his baby. I was 19, going on 20. He told me that. I believed him, and I went and had an abortion. I didn't believe in abortions. I was raised in the church. We didn't do those things. But because I already had one child, and he told me what he was not going to do, I refused to bring another child into that situation. I chose to do that because I was having a hard time taking care of the first one, because we didn't really have money. Because I had to potty train him early, because neither one of us could afford pull-ups as much as we needed to. I was at home, but my parents could not help me. I had to do this by myself. And if he had money, he would get it, or if his mother, but it wasn't enough. So I refused to bring another child into this world to have to go through extra stuff and suffer and make this baby suffer when he ain't gonna help me. So when I say what I'm gonna say, I come from experience. She should have gotten rid of that baby. I don't believe, or these are babies, I understand this, but she went after him for money. Point blank, period. If he gave her money, or all this money, if this is alleged, because Rock said that it wasn't true, but if he gave her over $100-something to get rid of this baby, and she kept that money, and she kept the baby, and now on after the hospital, when he clearly told her he did not want that baby, that is on her. She chose to do that. He does not want the child, though he was not responsible, just like she wasn't responsible to protect themselves from having a baby. Like you said, he's a dirtbag. He's selfish. He's an asshole. We know this. So you took it upon yourself to bring a child into the world knowing he didn't want it. You really didn't want it for real, but you saw dollar signs. That was all on her. He already made his statement known. He already said, I don't want this baby. So that is on her. And the fact that she moved from another state and went to go put him on child support in another state was wrong. She's just after the money. So if he's going to pay that $1.8 million because he don't want to see that baby, having to do the baby, and it got a lot to do with the mother, let him pay it and let him be out that child life. Like Star said, he might do something to her. But the mother might do something to the baby. Do something to the child. But the mother might do something to the baby too, because she's mad because she can't have her way. It goes on both sides. You got to listen when somebody tell you something. You can't let dollar signs lead you, because now this baby got to suffer. The child is innocent. And because the mother wants to be greedy, this child got to deal with that nonsense. She could have took care of it.
And I want to know how much of that money is actually going to be used for the child.
And therein lies the damn problem, because I bet you very, very little she gonna have Birkin bags and every damn thing else stuff.
And that's another thing. Like when it comes to child support, should the use of that money be monitored just for that issue alone?
I do think it should be, but at the same token, because I've seen this be a topic all the time, I think it should be specific guidelines in court on what that child support is for. Because now see, now y'all got me fired up. I've seen a lot of men say child support is not for the light bill. Well, why not? Your kids use light. Child support is not for your rent. Why not? Your child will be homeless if the rent is not paid. Now, saying it's not for your hair, nails, crab legs, and all that shit, I agree with you 1000%. But I'm a mute because
No, because for real, I agree. Now, granted, I personally never heard the rent or the light bill or anything like that, but I have seen many cases where a child needs like a new pair of shoes, but the mom's nails and hair is always done. You know, she always got new outfits and all that kind of stuff. So
foolishness, freaking foolishness. Listen, like I said, because I can go off on the women that misuse child support too. It ain't always all about going off on the men, but that whole situation surrounding child support burns me up every single time. And you said you haven't heard it. Weezy, do me a favor, step to the stage and take the mic and tell him some of the stuff you've heard these men say child support is not for, that we know it is for.
And let me go on record. I'm not saying that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not that, and granted, I'm not disputing or saying it doesn't happen, but I'm just saying, based on the norm of what I personally have heard or what I personally hear, there's definitely plenty of reasons why there should be heavier guidelines on that. I mean, if it's nothing that specifically affects the child, such as rent or lights or gas or clothes, school supplies, food, and so on and so forth, and yada, 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 shouldn't be using it for it.
Yeah. I do agree there should be some guidelines. And they do say now it's not, it's usually podcast people or people doing posts talking about you shouldn't use that money to pay bills, you shouldn't use that money to do this, you shouldn't use that money to do that. Well, sweetheart, like Star said, they gotta live here, they gotta eat, they need clothes too. These bills gotta be paid. Now, again, you should have some source of income or be doing something to add to that. But again, if you were in that household with that child, that money would be going to those bills. That money would be going to food. That money would be going to the mortgage or rent. That money would be going to transportation. That money would be going to all those things. So that right there, should not be dictated. But again, the extra stuff, what you do as a parent, a mother, father, and most fathers don't even get child support, which they should. But as a parent, your personal things, you are supposed to take care of. If you're receiving money for your children, then that money needs to go to your children. My mother used to get child support. My mother, every time my father would send child support, she would give it to us, or she would take us and let us go get what we need. My mother never used that money for her, and she needed things too, but she never used that money for herself because that was for us, and she made sure that we had what we needed. And that's what you're supposed to do. If you have a child, regardless of if you're with the father or not, or you're with the mother or not, you are supposed to take care of that child. That money that you receive coming in goes to that child, whether it's a bill or what they need. All that extra stuff.
And there's always another option that everybody seemingly skips past. If you feel like you don't want to pay your baby mama child support, because she ain't gonna do what she's supposed to, then take your ass and get the kids the things that they need. That's another thing that pisses me off when they do this complaining. I heard you. When they do this complaining. Okay, fine. You don't want to do that, then you go to the store, get them proper shoes and clothing and the things that they need. But if you're not even willing to do that, you should really shut up.
Yep. That's another thing. Go by what the arrangement I have. You don't have to give me nothing. As long as you get what they need, I'm cool. That is the arrangement that we have. Don't give me nothing. And he don't.
And there are plenty of women that are fine with that arrangement.
Go get
Well, and granted, I'll speak from personal experience because I have a family member who I'm very close with who's going through this, and I got several other friends who are going through this. Believe it or not, there's a lot of men who actually prefer that option. I know of some good men who never wanted to be on child support. They wanted to be present fathers and help raise their child, but they were forced on child support. And this is the case where I feel the dang court give one parent, i.e. more so the women, a little too much control over what happens in the dynamic of the parenting. Because how come if one wants child support, but the other one is like, I don't want child support because I'm gonna be there. I'll get you and the child what you need, and so on and so forth. The judge, and this is what happened, says, I don't literally, and granted, this also probably has a little something to do with where they went to court at, because it was in Virginia. That's a Commonwealth state, and so on and so forth, and that does play a big part. But either way, judge was like, doesn't matter. You're on child support. And he cannot be alone with the child or be with the child unless the mother is present.
Now that's crazy. That's crazy. But what you said about child support, no. Child support don't make you not be a parent. So I don't want to hear that excuse. I don't care.
Well. For one, it can't. For one, I didn't say it. It makes you. It doesn't make you not be a parent. I didn't say it doesn't make you not be a parent. But there's other implementations that can go to child support. It depends on the situation. Now, also and it also depends on what baby mother you're dealing with too. So, because some baby mothers who force people on child support, i.e., the people I'm dealing with, they will make it so you can't see your child.
And guess what his responsibility is?
And because he can't see, and granted, once again, these guys are literally trying to go into court, trying to file these, trying to get whatever they can on the parent or on the other parent to try to get the what's it called when the type of visitation where only the other parent can be present.
Custody. They need to get joint custody.
Like I said, they gotta fight for it.
That's
like half the time, like when they on child support, they're normally the person receiving the child support has the custody. At least in these cases, anyway.
I'm gonna be real with you. If you don't file for full custody, you don't have full custody.
Well, like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of the granted, that's not my business. All I know is they are still trying to go to court just to even see their child sometimes. So they're paying child support. Can it now? Granted, depending on the situation, can it hinder your parenting? Yes, it can. Because these gentlemen really want to be there for their child. These guys are going. The one who's my family literally is going in and out of heavy depressions just because he can't see this child who literally looks just like him, and so on and so forth. But if the mom's not there, he can't go to the house to see him. And literally, he's trying to set up visitation, but the mom is just not trying to. Yeah.
Female dog. Okay.
You say what?
She's a female dog, first of all. Second of all, I have a cousin that's going through a situation like that. The mother keeps moving up from state to state. She won't let this man see this boy. He's paying child support. Every time he gets to see him, he might keep him for a week and take him back, and then she'll keep him away for a year or two. These women that are like that need to have the children taken away from them, because women in their right
Agreed.
wants to keep their child away from their father unless he's a harm. And the thing is, if she's doing that, she's the one causing harm. Take the babies. And he's fighting. My cousin, just like your family member, is fighting for custody. He's been fighting for years. And because she keeps moving, the courts, you know, it like you said, depends on the state. It's a bunch of selfish women out here. Selfish, because if it was about the child, none of this would be a problem. None of it.
Exactly.
That's why I said what I said about the woman. She wants money. Because if it was about the fact that she really wanted to take care of the child, this man told her he didn't want kids. He didn't want no children with her. There's no more conversation after that. These women that are doing that to your family members have an issue. They are bitter, and they are only doing it to hurt them. It's not about the children. And that makes them disgusting.
Yep.
Well, people, we have reached the end of the show. That was some good talk. Any final words, final thoughts?
Wrap it up. Don't go out in the rain unless you got a raincoat.
Look, don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and stick to you.
Dog paddles
And for
don't
me-
work in rivers.
And for me, I'd like to end our night on a joke. So, my fellow panelists, what did the egg say to the boiling water?
What?
Well, sweetie, I don't know if I can get hard. You know, I just got laid by a chick this morning.
Whoa, that's a good
That
one.
was good. That was good. That was very good.
That was a
very
good one.
But before we go, just a reminder, folks, the soundtrack for the film Water is out now, as well as 2 visuals for 2 of the singles and all that good stuff. Available now, and also the film Water is available on Amazon Prime and Tubi. And more films coming very, very soon. You know, from Red Vision, Global Square, the whole 9 yards. We work it out, y'all know the vibe.
And we have a comedy show coming up. Did you get your tickets? Why have you not gotten your tickets? Do you realize that you need to get your tickets? Get your tickets!
And if you act now, you get a free sample of the sandalwood fragrance.
The comedy show is April 23rd. And we have been doing flyers. If you need information, you can reach out to any one of us. We'll send you the information. But please come. It's going to be a great time. We have wonderful comedians. We have guests. We have artists. We have performances. We're just going to have a great time.
And the event
it's
is
420 friendly.
Yeah. And the event is sponsored by Blue Levitation. Dad.
What type of outro? This shit is so unorganized. Look, I'm Taylor Made Rock. I'm gonna keep it traditional. Y'all can follow me on all social media platforms. Apparently, these people forgot to tell y'all their names. Look on the screen, find it out, or just come back next week and we'll tell you. This is the No Filter Show. We need to get the fuck out of here.